distinguished panelists, distinguished participants, and my guests who are here for this particular discussion. Indeed, I will use this platform to have a small discussion on one of the exemplary undertaking by His Majesty as part of urban planning processes, and which could in fact to a large extent influence going forward how we should be planning and developing our towns and villages. So I again, in the context of the zoning that has recently been deployed, I take this opportunity on behalf of the National Task Force to present the novel initiative of His Majesty. As some of our speakers have already said, that Bhutan has witnessed unprecedented, tremendous socio-economic development in the process of urbanization. Partly, to a large extent, we attribute this to our benevolent monarchs who have selflessly driven the country in the process of urbanization. So globally, we also recognize that cities are center of civilization, and they are also birth for culture, trade, and progress. So it only says that we have to harness the potential and the opportunities that the cities and the towns, or for that matter, villages in Bhutan will provide for. So just to share an experience, in fact, in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, unprecedented disruptions have been brought all across. And particularly in Bhutan's urban planning and development, we have had the rare opportunity to deploy zoning as one of the effective tools to revitalize our neighborhoods. So on the 13th of August, when the lockdown was announced on 11th of August, His Majesty categorically commanded that through the urban planning process, we provide a framework whereby we could plan, we could accommodate and allocate areas within a town or within a settlement to be zoned, especially to tackle COVID pandemic issues. And particularly for the COVID, the second command was to ensure that we have to ease the lockdown and provide for restricted development, primarily having access to essential services. And finally, we should use this experience going forward to inform our urban planning and other interventions by our policymakers. So these are some of the key takeaways during the COVID lockdown situation. So within the 48 hours or so, we have experienced a tremendous amount of stress, only to indicate that the limitations and the issues that we have had with our urban planning and implementation processes. Therefore, clear principles and methodologies were derived at, firstly, to look at Thimphu as an example, and then take it forward to our Dzongkhags. So eventually, the zoning for Thimphu within 48 hours were also replicated to the Dzongkhags. And finally, in the event of a longer lockdown situation, in fact, processes and measures were also put in place to zone the entire country from the urban planning perspective to ensure or to facilitate movement of goods and services from high-risk area to low-risk area, to the extent that people then can do business as usual to the extent possible. So going forward, we now can take informed decision, particularly the zoning experiences in reviving our so-called neighborhoods in the context of Thimphu through the review of Thimphu Structure Plan. So it provides immense opportunity of what we should be doing, to the extent that our neighborhoods should then now reflect the villages, the so-called self-contained and self-sustained villages in our neighborhoods. So within the limited period of, time, it's quite difficult to express, but I have shared our experience through the zoning and how it could inform urban planning processes going forward.